Alright, P2-17, the slot plate. So kind of the giveaway, I mentioned that if we come around tangent to this this part, and then there's this little sequence in here, kind of the giveaway is that we have a dimension to that end point, the 0.95 and the 2 inch. If this was tangent, then that transition should well end up being a strange number because it's the arc's not really that complete, and it should just smoothly transition into the line and then pick up based on the other radiuses. So we have 3 arcs at a inch 200, so that would be the outsides. We're not really given dimensions, so based on the center marks we are let's see, what would that be, the 1.25 and then the center at the location. So really we could build this from either end. So would either pick the origin to be at the midpoint of this line, or possibly at the center of the arc and the slot. All right, so we'll generate the outside perimeter, going for half of it, mirror it over the horizontal center line, and then generate our slots. Okay, so all of this should be pretty standard by now. Center line, infinite length, horizontal. Okay, and want to make sure. So let's go with the line. I'll go into the continuous arc. So if it'll come back, I'll go into the continuous arc. I'm looking for that 90 degree. And then we'll come off. Now this arc isn't going to be continuous. Coming off tangent is going to bring it down in more of a swoop. So I'm going to switch arcs over to the 3-point arc so that I can control it a little bit better and get that swoop, more of that result. Alright, so then we're given a line off of that point, and then I'm going to do the continuous arc back to the center line. So again, I don't want to make the full arc, because when I mirror it, it will mirror onto itself, creating a duplicate entity, and that's not a preferred result. Alright, so from the center point, so let's, I guess I missed the dimension, line 1.25. And let's go ahead and take a quick look. We have the sketch numeric pad and the replace entity. What else in here? Construction geometry, the make blocks, zoom to selection, exit the sketch. It's always annoyed me a little bit that the exit sketch selection is right next to the dimension. And then you can go right into the extrude boss base. So that looks newer than previous. So what I was going to say about the numeric pad is, if you want to enter the values while you're placing dimensions, and probably not on the radius, so 1.2, and then the length of the line. Oh, yeah, that was on the sketch side, so got ahead of myself there. So if we were to come back to the line command, and as I'm drawing, the sketch numeric pad is that value that we would want to put in there. So if I wanted 2 inches, I could apply it, and it places it, but then it doesn't. It gives me the length. So it's, in that respect, it's kind of like doing the parameters. It gives me the length, but it doesn't really give me the dimension after the fact. So we're going to control select the center point and the center line, make those coincident. And then, well, let's go with the select and the control select, and we'll set those to equal. We have a 3-inch radius. And I'm going to kind of bring that down and around. Pull that out a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that sketch numeric pad off. Alright, so 3.75 to the notch, and that was to the center, not to the... Yep. So here's that decision time again of, do I drag from the handle and reposition it? Oh, that was interesting. So accidentally hit the reverse the sense. That put it in a negative value, sent it the opposite way. So just watch out for those buttons. Alright, the 0.95 from the top. Alright, so this is the dimension that usually does not like if it picks up the tangent. And not sure what I selected there, so we'll just select out of that. Going back to the center point, 2 inches. And then we need to do a little bit of diagnosis here. Alright, so we had the 2, oh, it didn't apply. Alright, so we'll watch for that 0.95. There we go. Alright, so that gives me the fully defined, and it allows for that little bit of dip in the sequence. Alright, so with my center line, I'm going to go back to a straight slot, and we'll pick up the origin. So I don't really like having the center line on top of the center line, but I can live with it. Our radiuses are 0.6, and the length 2.5 inches. Alright, so I can't really pick that center line, so just going to the bottom or going between the two radiuses is probably preferred there. Okay, and then for the other slot, we'll come off of the center line up to the center of the arc, and then this is going to be set to equal. Alright, so radius equal, make the whole thing equal, so 2.5. Let's see what this works out to. So if we had allowed with the 1 1/4, we could have set the arc, or the both slots to equal all of the geometry, and it would have worked out. But I think in this case, if the center point moves, we want the slot to move with it. Alright, so having gone through that, I didn't perform the mirror, so let's right click, and this is a place where I can select chain. Alright, so when I right click and see select chain, that will grab all of that connecting geometry. I can hold down the control button, or I could have just gone into the mirror entities and then selected the mirror axis and had it complete the geometry. So on that right click, I have not done the extrude boss base from here. That's an interesting place to put it. And the sketch contour was to the outside, so I do want to right click and delete. And our thickness is 875. And we'll pick, alright, so since I cleared out the selected contours and it's not doubly nested or anything, it's just going to extrude out. Alright, so that little step there and that transition is probably the biggest challenge in this part. So we'll save it. And call this one done.